Jackson.
Touchdown. Vershawn Jackson, number 34, gets the touchdown.
Husker Hall of Famer Terrell Farley.
Defending Terrell Farley, who last week in his first start was a holy terror, number 43.
And Jake Bockoven. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Powered by Bauer.
All right, welcome to Bach in the Black Shirt here on 93.7 The Ticket. Bach, I'm going to give you a riddle. SGA, PGA, USA, Lakers in 5. In my Shannon Sharp voice. All right, welcome to the Captain Show, the fastest 2 hours in radio, which is going to be almost like 45 minutes for me and Bach today. Bach, I got some exciting news right now. College Football 26 came out with the cover, and you wouldn't believe who's on the cover this year.
Is it Dylan Raiola? Is it Dylan?
No. Dylan Raiola is too busy at high school basketball game, but they do have a true freshman on there, Bryce Underwood.
Wow.
Quarterback for Michigan is on there. I'm going to give you a list of who's on there. Kirby Smart's on there. Kirby Smart. What's the Penn State coach? James Franklin.
Yeah.
Kenny Dillingham, I think Ryan Day. Then you have Jeremiah Smith, Ryan Williams, DJ Lagway, Caleb Downs, Sam Levick, Dylan Stewart, and some mascots. So no Dylan Raiola. I don't think people in the nation are feeling the Dylan Raiola hype train like we do in Nebraska, because he needs and we're going to talk about this. But, you know, these guys on the cover, know they're getting paid handsomely for it. But, you know, it's a surprise to see the coaches on there this year.
Yeah, it's good. You wonder if they're going to have maybe more of the coaching function. You know, sometimes the games will do that. And so maybe there's more detail and depth in which you can go with your coaches. But, you know, that's probably, I don't mind it, because college football has always been about the coaches. You know, the players obviously on the field, you know, make the plays and you know, ultimately win championships there. But as far as building a program as compared to an NBA or, you know, Major League Baseball or something like that, college football coaches have always been, you know, very important, or maybe even more important than in some of those other sports, in sports settings. So I would be excited to see them. I was kind of joking. I didn't expect Dylan Raiola to be a part of it. But hopefully someday, I suppose.
Well, you know, let's get on another one now. Bach, I want to talk to you about spring practice as it comes up. 3 players that needs to take advantage of spring on the offensive side, and 3 players on the defensive side that needs to take advantage of this spring practice going into the 25 season.
Well, man, it's almost kind of hard to keep it at 3 on the offensive side, just because of everything that, you know, kind of needs to happen there. You specifically think about the running depth behind Emmett Johnson. That's why I think Quentin Ives at first, or you know, whoever's battling, there's going to be somebody that gets a majority of those carries. So Mekhi Nelson could be in there as well. But that's kind of the first position that comes to my mind. Second that comes to my mind is the offensive line. There's like 4 offensive linemen at least out for the spring, including some guys that you think would start. So, you know, some of those younger classes that were able to redshirt. I mean, Gunnar Gatula's out. That would be nice to see him in there. But Henry Lutovsky's out. Would be nice to see him in there. But, you know, as far as guys getting acclimated, like Elijah Pritchett, certainly Rocco Spindler, you know, those are guys that have done this before, so it's not completely new to them, but to kind of set the foundation. But, you know, those other guys, Tyler Knack, you know, Sam Sledge, guys like that, that will be competing on that front line. So I'd probably go with running back and offensive lineman myself on the offensive side.
Well, when I see the chance for Heinrich Haarberg to really step up and not really saying he's going to be the starter because you have to be a true two-way blocking tight end and pass catcher tight end. I don't know if his blocking is we seen clips of it or some of it, but I'm thinking more like a traditional blocking tight end. I don't think he's ready for that part yet, but I do see him available to help this offense. We know that the other kid from 8-man, what's his name? The one who had surgery.
Yeah, he might be out. Carter Nelson.
Yeah, they saying Carter Nelson might be out of a year. So this looks good for the kid who came from LSU last year. And what's the other guy named? Bach?
So Mac Markway is out this spring too.
Oh my
but yeah,
God.
does have an opportunity to do that. But Luke Lindenmeyer would be the other.
Yeah,
name.
Lindenmeyer had an okay year. Now if he can get, I'm not saying that he's in shape. If he can tone his body up some and because he can really catch the ball and rumble.
Yeah.
I also like to see more out of Dylan Raiola, making sharper passes and better thinking processes in game two, and try to keep it a all year process of getting better instead of not having the slumps that we had with the 5-game losing streak last year, the 4-game losing streak. Then probably running back, like you said, running back has to play a role, and some guy has to step up and get those other 12 to 15 carries a game because we're gonna need that. We can't feed him the ball every play. You would like to, but in the real world, he's not big enough to carry the ball 40 times a game.
Well, and it's interesting. You just asked about how who is the most important. There's a lot of ways to go there. Like you said, Dylan Raiola definitely is a name to circle because they are changing to a degree. At least you would hope or think a little bit of the offense with Dana Holgerson. He basically came in and ran the offense that they had. Now being able to tweak it. It might be some install period. It might, getting used to some of the new plays that are in there. So that'll be interesting there. And then, we talk all these guys at the top of the roster, and yes, that makes a lot of sense. But you keep in mind, there's guys fighting for their football lives, their Husker football lives in the spring to try to make the 105, and they won't be the ones that we necessarily circle at the top. But talk about an important spring or being a must-have spring for some of those guys.
Yeah, that part you said, but at the same time, they have to get themselves ready to be in that position. Like they have to be at the top of the line when the coach is looking for somebody to throw in there. You need to volunteer yourself. So it's going to be hard either way it go. For the 105, that's even for players who's on scholarship. So they have to watch it. So it's a hit and go thing with this process they're going through to get to 105. Now, when we talk about defense, I'll start first, Bach, because I got some guys I really, really would like to see shine. Cam Linhart. I think we didn't see the best of him last year. After having a promising freshman year, year two, which we call the sophomore slumps, probably came in effect, but he didn't get that much playing time. Who else I would like to see? Willis McGahee had a strong freshman year, came on strong at the end. Like to see him pick up where he left off at. The defensive end from Missouri, like to see him try to get in the swing of things and get disrupted. But my biggest one has to be Vincent Shavers, Jr. I want this kid to pick up from where he picked off from the bowl game. Hopefully he has a excellent workout for the winter conditioning. Get himself in shape. Probably put on a little bit more muscle to add with his speed. I got high hopes for this kid this year. I look at him as a full-time starter going into the season. Probably one of the quickest linebackers we have. Not mostly the experienced linebacker we have. We know we had a guy from Georgia Southern. We also had the guy from Oklahoma who's coming in, who's going to also play the jack linebacker. And then you have a guy like Buda Wright, Javen Wright, who's probably the elderman of this linebacker crew who can help this team in any kind of way, passing downs, rushing downs. Really don't think he has to be the starter, but he can contribute a lot. This group is not deep at all at linebacker, so it probably will be a small rotation, which is probably better for Vincent Shavers to really put some numbers out there. The middle linebacker is a solid guy who's from Georgia Southern. DBs don't really know too much about too many of these. I know Dre Bly needs to get back in the rhythm that he got before he got hurt last year. The guy from USC needs to, come in and try to solidify a position. But it's going to be a battle back there in the defensive back crew. It's an unknown group, but it's also a group that's probably better than last year's group.
Yeah, they got to figure out what they want to do at that rover position. Obviously, Isaac Gifford has been manning that the last couple of years. And so you got to figure out where to move these spots. Is that a Malcolm Hartzog type of opportunity? Maybe Marquise Buford. I mean, those were guys that have been playing different positions, whether it be cornerback or safety. So they got to narrow in what those guys want to do and maybe use one of those at the rover position. We'll have to wait and see. I do like Sierra Wright, like you said. So not necessarily worried about Singleton or Sierra Wright, some of the guys back there. But Andrew Marshall will be the interesting one. The transfer from Idaho certainly has a lot in his repertoire as far as kick returns and punt returns and all that. So that will be an exciting addition. But can he start? Is he quality defensive back to start opposite Sierra Wright? Or who is that going to be? Like I said, Bly Hill kind of coming off of injuries. They got some other guys to maybe throw in there. Maury Sanders, some of the younger guys, Ramir Stewart, got some playing time there in the bowl game. So they've got a little bit to work with as far as depth back there. But obviously, it was also disappointing last season. Donovan Jones, Caleb Johnson, Jeremiah Charles, all guys that I expect to fight in for minutes as well. There, you mentioned Marquise Watson Trent. I think he's going to be expected, and at least in my mind, to come in and basically lead Nebraska in tackling. So you'd like him to get off to a good start. I could be wrong. Maybe he won't get wrestle away one of those starting spots. But then the other one you mentioned, especially on the defensive front line, Williams Nwaneri makes a lot of sense. All the potential in the world. Deshaun McCullers the other day just said he looks like he'll be a first-round draft pick. At some point in his career, he's a 5-star for a reason, but wasn't able to get on the field at Missouri. So can you take that big step? Again, generally your biggest step is going to be from your first year to second year on campus or in a college campus, right? He's in a different location, but that'll work for him. And then, Keona Davis, who left the transfer portal, came back at one point. That was pretty big for Nebraska to retain him. Expect him to take a jump in his sophomore year. But Riley Van Poppel is the name that they said in redshirting him. Remember, not everybody takes that gracefully. Malachi Coleman didn't like the redshirt decision. He left. Riley Van Poppel took the redshirt decision, stuck with it. Now has another year on the other side of it, just a sophomore. And Matt Rule said when they decided to redshirt him that he needs to be next year's Ty Robinson. So next year's coming. I mean, is he ready to take on that role? Hopefully they don't, put all of that expectation on him. But something close to that would be obviously huge for Nebraska's defensive front, which I think has more questions than anything in that on the defensive side of the ball, just like I think the offensive front has the most questions on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, special teams. When we look at the special teams, it was a bad part of our team last year. I think it was probably the worst phase of of Nebraska football that I've seen in a long time, especially now we have the Mike Eckler era coming in. Christian Alvano starts spring off kind of not ready to kick yet. That can hurt him, especially with the kid we had last year. He got better as the year went on. His snapping would have been if snapping the ball and getting the protection is right for this guy. This guy could lock this position up by the end of spring.
Yeah, no, absolutely. At this point, I think you expect John Hull to be the starter. Tristan Alvano, as mentioned the other day, with all the injuries, will be limited. So, I think Hull's probably earned that. Alvano was really, praised coming in, did hit a long field goal in his freshman season, as well as a couple others, but was inconsistent. Then you didn't see him last year. So in my mind, John Hull's your starting kicker coming in, but Tristan Alvano will have to fight for that win healthy. Obviously, they went out and got Jack McAllister from Washington to take over from Brian Boone-Sheney, and he's a senior, so it's just a rental. It'll be 1 year, but you don't have to expect too much battles there. maybe at some point Camden Cook, will be a redshirt freshman, can take over those punting duties, down the line. But this year it looks like they're lined up with Jack McAllister.
What about the kid dad who kicked here?
Yep, that's Camden Cook, Sam Cook's son. Yeah.
Okay.
Looks like at least they felt like he wasn't ready enough, or in their plans didn't look like, because they went out and got Jack McAllister for 1 year rental. So maybe they're thinking he's a year away, or just one way or the other, not ready to take over the punting duties.
All right. Now, when we talk about these coaches, don't know too many of these coaches. I think it's probably a new staff at every position besides linebackers and offensive line. Which coach has the most pressure, you think, coming into this season? I'm gonna let you go first on this one. Besides Matt Rule.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of Matt Rule on the top. I think there's going to be a watchful eye on Coach Butler, obviously, as the defensive coordinator. They surrounded the staff with guys with defensive coordinator experience. That's the guy that they went with. He's had, been a D coordinator before at Penn State. It was about 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago in the Big Ten. So I'd like what they've done around him, but no doubt he is the biggest question mark. Now, Dana Holgorsen, that's also something to keep an eye on, because I think we all just think, oh, we've got an ace in our sleeves in Dana Holgorsen. And man, well, why wouldn't you believe that? I mean, he's been fantastic as an offensive coordinator, and even the offenses that he's had in his head coaching positions have been incredible. But that better go swimmingly. Otherwise, like you said from the top, Matt Rule might be in a little pressure if he can't find an offense that works here in Lincoln.
All right. So I guess we done with that edition of our spring talk. And the thing I say this because, spring is one of the most important things of football. And it has to be, especially for the young guys. When we talk about these young guys, what we got right there, Bob?
Oh, we got DP in studio. Hold on.
Yeah, let's stretch that for a second. Let's stretch this. This is worthy of it. When you get, you need that Muhammad Ali. The champ is here. The champ is here. Big Ten wrestling champion, Ridge Lovett.
All right, Ridge Lovett.
Come on, baby. Listen, he brought the belt.
I see it.
So
it's nice and shiny.
The Big Ten Conference said for all of the champions, they actually got their own belts.
That is cool.
And to go into this thing as they head to Philly national tournament, you got to be walking. Have your feet hit the ground yet?
No, not quite.
But this is back to back now. Mm-hmm. Like, statement made. Yeah. This is back. Listen, this is your title. This is your conference. You've earned this, my friend. Young man, well done, bro. Yeah, I wanted to say it on air because, again, the smile on your face, I hope they're on the stream so they can see the smile on your face, because the amount of work that you put in and the journey, we've been talking about this from the beginning of the season. Underrated, undervalued sometimes, a lot of attention given to other folks in the Big Ten, but here you are standing on top of the podium with the strap.
Heck yeah, baby.
Everything earned, nothing given. Mm-hmm. Proud of you, bro. Proud of it. Go ahead and box. Send this break. I just had to get him in here.
All right.
I had to get this in here.
I can't complain there. Ridge Lovett, again, good luck to him moving forward, but obviously has had a great year. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back with more on the Captain of 93.7 The Ticket.
Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com. Automotive Solutions is Lincoln's one-stop shop for all your vehicle needs, from vinyl wraps to engine repair and maintenance. Automotive Solutions offers fleet services as well as printing and graphic design for vinyl applications, plus installation of vinyl for boats, trucks, cars, and anything else you want wrapped. Perfection is their standard, and they never settle for less. Call today at 531-249-5600 or go to automotivesolutionslincoln.com to learn more. That's Automotive Solutions on 2024 Southwest 5th Street in Lincoln.
Every home is different. Every family is different. So when it's time for a new heating and cooling system, why not get what fits you best? Get the perfect fit with Bryant. Maybe you need higher efficiency, better humidity control, increased warranty, or all the bells and whistles. Bryant provides options in warranty, features, comfort, and efficiency while maximizing savings. Call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing, 467-1111, or visit BryantLincoln.com. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with the child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
I'm softball player Jordy Ball, and I'm proud of my Nebraska roots, and I'm proud to be back home. And at Midwest Bank, they're proud to be your local community bank. They believe in family first, taking initiative, showing integrity, and rolling up their sleeves to support their local communities. They treat everyone like family, no matter where you're from. Whether you walk into a branch in York, Lincoln, Norfolk, or Pierce, you know you're going to be welcomed with a smile. Your community, your bank, Midwest Bank.
Go Hog Wild Pet Barbecue.
It's $5.99 barbecue time. Hurry to Hog Wild for a complete barbecue meal that's only $5.99. Get a one-meat sandwich loaded with our award-winning barbecue, plus your choice of a classic side and drink for just $5.99. Upgrade your sandwich to beef brisket for just $1 more. Join us for lunch or dinner in Lincoln at 3210 Cornhusker Highway. Order online at GoHogWild.com.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
Well, it's the middle of winter, the holidays are over, and the weather is unpredictable. Isn't there anything to look forward to? You bet there is. Cash Blast from your Nebraska Lottery is back. Until April 1st, buy a 2x2 ticket and enter the voucher number online for a chance to win one of 7 weekly drawings for $5,000 or $500. And if your voucher is from a 7-day draw ticket, your prize is doubled. Hey, there's nothing like a little green to cure the winter blues. 2x2 top prize odds, 1 in 105,000.
When you get the Planet Fitness Black Card, you can bring a friend anytime you work out. And now through March 13th, get your first month free when you join. You heard that right. Conquer the stair climber with your partner in climb. Enjoy a post-workout recovery session in the hydro massage. And do it all again with access to any of our 2,700 convenient locations. So, you coming? Get your first month free and all the perks with the PF Black Card for just $1 down, $24.99 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends March 13th. See Club for details.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Lincoln's newest restaurant isn't just a typical sports bar. It's the sports bar for so many reasons. Liquid Asset Sports Bar and Grill in South Lincoln has 23 beers on tap and 36 TVs featuring all things sports from MLB to soccer to golf and more, and football, of course, in the fall. Stop by for their grand opening this Friday, March 14th, and enjoy great food and drink selection at Lincoln's newest go-to, Liquid Asset Sports Bar and Grill at 27th and Jamie Lane in South Lincoln.
Perch Merch is your one-stop shop for all your printing and promotional needs in Lincoln, Nebraska. They specialize in screen printing, embroidery, vehicle wraps, window wraps, print collateral, promotional products, and signage. At Perch Merch, they are committed to delivering high-quality products and exceptional customer service. Their experienced team of designers and printing professionals will work with you every step of the way to ensure that your vision is realized. Call for a quote today at 402-217-5212 or go to perch-merch.com.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and March Madness is here, and Koppel is ready to rock and roll. We just closed the books on a tremendous February, and we're locked and loaded for a big March. True 0% APR is happening right now at Koppel on select new models. Koppel also has over 10,500 off list on new select models. So please stop on by and see what confident driving and confident buying is all about. We're right down 144th Street or online at koppelcars.com. All deals with the roof credit, 0% is standalone.
This is 93.7 The Ticket.
Look at me, sure. Look at me, sure. I'm the captain now.
Three-time national champion Vershawn Jackson.
Touchdown. Vershawn Jackson, number 34, gets the touchdown.
Husker Hall of Famer Terrell Farley.
Defending Terrell Farley, who last week in his first start was a holy terror, number 43.
And Jake Bockoven. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Powered by Bauer.
All right, welcome to the Captain Show, 93.7 The Ticket, the fastest 30 minutes in radio as me and Bach try to get it going on before the next exciting high school basketball game. What was that school that just beat Seward County, Bach?
I have to double check.
St. Catholic. I think it was the St. Catholic school, but it was an exciting game. They came down for at least 13, 12 down to win the game.
Yeah, it's been an exciting day so far for Nick Sainert out there. As yet, he did have fun. You could tell calling the end of that game there. So hopefully, the action picks up, stays as hot as it was, I should say, maybe in that game as we have Class B games for the rest of this evening, starting with Norris and Pius at 1:30. So we'll try to see if there's any Pius bias in Nick's voice, obviously, as he went to Pius, but I don't doubt his professionalism there. He'll do fine. So that'll be kind of exciting looking forward. Like you said, just about half an hour left, about 20 minutes for us here on the Captain before we send it back out there.
Yeah, West Virginia head coach Rich Rodriguez banned his players from dancing on TikTok.
Yes.
He said he don't care about them using the app. Are players more concerned about TikTok, Bach, or more than they're concerned about football?
Well, that might be his concern. I don't think that they necessarily are. I don't think that you have to do one or the other. I think there's time for some to be able to do whatever you want to in your own hobbies in your own time. But it can be a concern. I mean, you don't want it to take. I mean, the young people love TikTok, high school, college age, whatever it might be. So you don't want them spending too much time there. I think that might be an overreaction, but at least it's getting rid of a problem if he thinks there is one.
All right, what you got, Bach?
Well, as we look at it here, I did want to kind of think about a few different things. An offensive coordinator has been hired for one of Nebraska's opponents this year. You're going to love this, Terrell, because you're just going to break it down here. Houston Christian is expected to hire Mike Nesbitt as an offensive coordinator, the current head coach at NAIA School, Ottawa. How do you think this impacts Nebraska's game against Houston Christian this upcoming year?
Not one fear at all, Bob.
It doesn't do anything.
They can have Bill Parcells over there, or whoever's the most offensive genius in college football or the NFL it doesn't matter, Bach. It's still Houston Christian at the end of the day. They don't have enough firepower to come up here and upset Nebraska.
The question
Shouldn't
is,
even be on the schedule.
does Houston Christian keep it closer to Nebraska, or is Mickey and Grambling able to keep it closer with Ohio State?
Houston Christian, I think, will keep it closer.
Still, yeah.
Yeah, Mickey's going to get beat by 100.
That Ohio State team's pretty good, I think. So that might be a little bit of the part of the problem. Elsewhere in some former Husker news, I know you pointed this out to me. The Saints have agreed to a deal with Jack Stoll. So he continues to get a chance in the league. And then Malik Collins yesterday signed a 2-year, $20 million deal after being released by the 49ers with the Cleveland Browns. So 2 former Huskers just to keep an eye on there. But what I did want to ask you about is Georgia. You know, we see all this this kind of copycatting success and trying to figure out what to do next in college football. And a lot of programs, and even Nebraska, going back to even Mike Riley's program, said, let's hire a GM. Make this roster management thing, you know, a lot easier. Put it in one guy's hands, and maybe he can kind of lead that department. Georgia's Kirby Smart says, I'm the GM. He says, we don't need to plan to hire a GM. We have plenty of people in place that already help manage the roster, and he's part of that. So it's one of those things where if you have success, you can kind of you can kind of make up your own rules without having too much backlash. What do you think about Georgia going without a GM?
Well, we'll just have to see how it plays out during football season. The thing with Georgia is that Georgia's always going to be a great defensive team. I think helping on the offensive side is more what they need. Probably I don't know if Mike Bobo's the answer for the offensive coordinator there, but at the same time, you know, Georgia needs to get better on offensive plays wise, because defenses, they're great. But, you know, you have a back full of a backfield full of running backs with receivers who drop the ball. Quarterback is Georgia's main issue right now. So whoever they decide to go with in spring, if the other kid can get healthy and hold it down, then I'm great with that. But if not, Georgia needs to get a mobile quarterback.
Yeah, it does seem, you know, like an opportunity. I was surprised that Carson Beck transferred, and then that Georgia didn't get anybody. Gunnar Stockton maybe is the answer there, but didn't necessarily look completely the part. Did fill in and help get a victory in one of the playoff games for Georgia, but ultimately they did lose to Notre Dame. I think it was the Texas game. He came in and helped get the victory in. But yeah, I mean that offense was not all that powerful to begin with. When they were winning titles, Georgia's offense has been through a hard-nosed running game. That offensive line, that front, obviously they had one of the best tight ends in college football history through that run as well. But so, I mean, it's one or the other. I mean, yeah, it'd be great for any offense to add more dynamic playmakers and get some stuff out of the passing game. But at least they need to return to that the powerful rushing attack that they've had previously as well. So I think that's kind of interesting. We do have a question off the text line. Says PacFan76, you guys going to talk about Carter Nelson today? So Tim Verghese of Rivals, not reported but estimated. So this is just a tweet, and he tweeted out to say afterwards, this is just his opinion. But he estimates with the hip surgery that Carter Nelson had to get that he will likely have to redshirt this upcoming season. How big of a deal would that be to you as far as Nebraska's depth? He's kind of in between wide receiver, tight end, but certainly a piece that they could use. And how big of a deal or setback would that be to his career? Obviously, Nebraska fans know pretty well a tight end named Thomas Fedoni, who had a couple seasons that were impacted by injury that maybe had set him back.
Well, first of all, they should have cut his season short and went ahead and did the surgery during the season, because actually this has been a process that's been hurting him since high school. This is not something new, but, you know, I think if, you know, they wanted him to play so bad and having fear that a player would transfer if they don't play their first year. But in this case, he should have redshirted, you know, because now he's 6 months out from being healthy to be able to start to do rehab. So you look at probably June, July, he starts rehab, and then he got to get in football shape. You got to test that hip out. So we're in a situation where he possibly could. I say late August, he should be ready to go. If not, then redshirt.
Yeah, it's interesting because he seemed like a guy that was, you know, if you look at his his numbers. At least early in the season, he looked like a guy that could help Nebraska, and they used him a little bit in so doing so. But then he kind of fell off and wasn't getting on the field a whole lot more afterwards. But I think he did play in enough games. I don't know if I can't remember or not if he's able to redshirt or not. But so we'll have to see. Obviously, it's kind of a slow jump start to his career, just kind of like it was with Thomas Fedoni if he has to sit out this upcoming year. They've got enough depth, I think, certainly at wide receiver, where it's going to be tough to get on the field to begin with. I don't think you feel like you take too big of a hit there. So again, that's another part of the question at 6'5", 230. Were they going to thin him up and play him a little bit more at wide receiver, or were they going to add some weight to him and really make him a tight end at this level? Also remains to be seen. So I think that's kind of interesting as well. As we look at some other storylines here, Murray State will hire Creighton's assistant coach Ryan Miller as their head coach. So that's something to track there. Also, last night from Big Ten's basketball, Northwestern beat Minnesota, Iowa beat Ohio State, USC beat Rutgers, all to move on to today. That's where Northwestern will now take on Wisconsin at 1:30. Iowa will take on Illinois at 5:30, and USC will take on Purdue at 8 o'clock. I don't think any of those teams, I think all those teams just slightly over 500. I don't think they're quite bubble ready yet, but a victory today maybe could extend those opportunities for Northwestern, Iowa, and USC. And then I did want to ask you this too, Terrell, because it's a question that's going around Husker basketball, is that should Hoiberg's first 3 years count against him? Fred Hoiberg obviously finished this past season 17-14. I think most Husker fans would describe this year as a missed opportunity, just because of Nebraska being in position and failing down the stretch to punch their ticket to the tournament. But now in the last couple of years, 56-41, 3 straight years of 500 or plus ball, 16-16 3 years ago, 23-11 2 years ago, and then 2 years ago, and then this season 17-14. But he started out 7-25, 7-20, and 10-22. And so I think there's just kind of this idea he was able to restart in the second 3 years of his tenure is maybe where you would kind of reset it. But that can only work at a place like Nebraska basketball. I mean, most places are going to count your whole tenure against you if it comes to that.
Well, Fred's in a bad situation. Like you said, starting 12-2. The thing I seen about Nebraska basketball, it didn't have the depth that they needed. You had nobody on the second team that can come in and relieve and put up points. You only had 2 main guys. That's Juwan Gary and the other guy.
Yeah, Bryce
Williams. And it is not fair for the rest of the team just to, because these are 2 guys they counted on. But at the same time, somebody needs to step up, and they didn't. So, what Fred's job is to do is now try to replace these 2 players, try to get depth on this team. I mean, you have to open up your wallet book. I mean, I don't know how much NIL value that Nebraska has for basketball, but it goes for every sport now.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see them put together quite a run in this era, in this portal era, to grab some high end players that we would know might cost somebody a few dollars, but to put something together. I'm just fascinated by the discussion altogether, because I think there is merit and there is and there's a lot to argue behind Hoiberg's last 3 years kind of being where you look at and grade him. I think of any coach from year 4 through 6, he had the most victories in that period. But at the same time, you can't just throw the other part of it to the side. And remember, in those first 3 seasons, they were able to get, Delano Banton. I mean, they had some guys in town that were pretty good, but just weren't able to win those games. So I don't think you completely throw those to the side. I don't think almost anywhere outside of Nebraska basketball, those would not be thrown to the side. And almost anywhere, to include Iowa, where this past season, they've had their own coach, Fran McCaffrey, on the hot seat, even though he's just done a great job over the years there, right? If you think about, bringing Luka Garza or Keegan Murray or Peter Jock, or just some of the names that you could kind of remember being top players in the Big Ten there. And they had a near 500 season and they won him out. So it's kind of interesting to see the differences between programs, not just within the Big Ten, but regionally. But we all just kind of have to accept kind of where Nebraska is, which was, I don't know if this is a program that should expect to be in the tournament year in and year out. You want to get to that, as Fred Hoiberg was saying in postseason in the press conference after the season there, after the loss to Iowa. But I would chuck this up here. I mean, it's one that hurts. Again, I think more than anything will be described as a missed opportunity as we look back at history. But it is also kind of meets the standard of what we expect in Nebraska basketball, which is, not quite fight for a tournament, not quite be in a tournament every year. I hope that they do get to that eventually, but they've had 2 tournament appearances since 1999. So it's, you can try to hold your standard higher up to what reality is, but reality is they're not that program. So this year, 17-14, yes, missed opportunity, but also kind of marks along the process that you would expect for a Nebraska program is to either be in the tournament or fighting for the tournament. And this year you could count them as fighting for the tournament. So kind of interesting way to look at it. Sometimes you get those Nebraska football expectations talks into Nebraska basketball. And you have to remember they're even after all these years of Nebraska football not living up to the expectation, there's still a higher expectation within that program than there is on the hardwood.
Yeah. Well, Nebraska baseball, Bach, they done won 3 games in a row. I'm trying to boost their record up there, like 7-8 right now with a 3-game winning streak. They play UCLA in California for the next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then they go to Pepperdine up in California. And then they play USC. So they out in California for a week, Bach.
Yeah, you better get used to it. It's nice to play some ball out there in sunny California, but you're right. Good job of taking care of Wichita State these last couple of games and hopefully salvaging the season. Losing those games, falling to 5-10 or whatever would have been pretty rough. So, I always say it's too early to panic about Nebraska baseball in March, just because you got to give them time to acclimate. And then, of course, a lot of the resume is going to be what they do in the Big Ten. But here comes the Big Ten with UCLA, like you said.
All right, they already got their women's who's lighting up the basketball court, and we'll see y'all Friday here at 93.7 The Ticket. Bach in the black shirt. We'll see you on Good Sense Friday here for an hour or 45 minutes or how long. We'll get you back to the state high school basketball championship for the boys here in a moment.
When you get the Planet Fitness Black Card, you can bring a friend anytime you work out. And now through March 13th, get your first month free when you join. You heard that right. Conquer the stair climber with your partner in climb. Enjoy a post-workout recovery session in the hydro massage. And do it all again with access to any of our 2,700